engaged and informed, bringing you insights, the hottest topics of the moment, and perspectives that matter from the runway to the political arena. We'll talk with Lavi, cover it all. Let's get real. Wednesday nights at 8 on Win FM. It's 8 o'clock. Listen, when you make it on time, the show started 8 o'clock and I made it. So I feel great, especially coming in from the Caribbean, always Syrian Caribbean time. But I'm very pleased to know that so far I think I have been consistent. So the internet massive, the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, Caribbean lovers, wherever you are, a pleasant good evening to your world. So I have to say this because, sometimes we think that we're just in a household, but now we all connected around the world. And people will be messaging me, Lavi, I was over in Bermuda, I was over in St. Thomas Virgin Islands, speaking about St. Thomas Virgin Islands. Jeffrey Bass, good evening. So this is what I'm talking about. When you start calling names, people like, over here in France, so Kittitians all over the world, Caribbean all over the world, and right now we have a Caribbean connection. It used to be the Leeward and the Windward. We're going further across the entire Caribbean. We have a lot of Santo Domingans are here. Yeah. We have people all the way over there from Jamaica. I think I spoke to somebody from the Turks and Cayman Island. Turks and Kurds, right. Yeah, the CI Islands overall, the Cayman Island, all of them connected.
We have people from Germany too.
Absolutely, and speaking about Germany, my neighbor is German, and she said, Lavi, you're not from here. I was like, yes, I am. She said, oh, you don't look so, because you're open, you're very open. But I take it as a compliment. I think a lot of it is credit from St. Kitts. I came from a friendly family. My father was naturally a people's person. I grew up at the time when it was okay to say hi. How are you? People mingle and neighbors and stuff like that. So I think that sometimes when people say that, don't look like you're from here, sometimes I would take the compliment from me being a Kittitian because I came from that environment where people engage, people used to talk to the neighbors, people never used to be up. We didn't have any internet like that. So, I'm an outside baby, outside and indoors. Outside again. Yeah, and I know you might be pretty much, younger than I am, But coming from your parents, if we really pass on that generation knowledge, education, that traditional upbringing, the youngsters can relate. For instance, my daughter, she was like, Mommy, my friends, them that asked me, how you know them songs? She said, my mother. So when I used to take her to school in the vehicle, I used to, jam my music. So she know a lot of, she even know like Jimmy Cliff and all those people. So some of the songs that she will have been listening to back then, that was considered boring to her. She's appreciated it,
Had to listen, had to learn to hear it.
Yes, right? And now she have a wider genre of music in terms of what music to listen to and not looking at music as for old people. Because no matter what, this music is going to be there.
Yeah.
Good music always stay alive, right? All right, it is 3 minutes after the hour of 8 o'clock. Once again, welcome to Real Talk. It's a beautiful Wednesday. The weather is pretty good. We have a little showers, not too much, but I would say it's pretty good. It's not that hot. We start getting a little bit of the fall breeze down here in the Caribbean. Yeah, maybe for some other people it's not as breezy as I am saying, but as a Kittitian, when your blood hot, you feel the breeze, it's a bit colder for you. So I would say right now the temperature is actually it's not as hot compared to some other places, right?
Normal.
It's normal?
Yeah, it's normal.
So this evening in the studios with me, I have my friend, a friend of mine, his mother. I know her from way back. And Adrian, I will know when he was a child. I know his father. So I'm happy to have him, joining me here in the studio. And I call on him and say, hey, Adrian, what are you doing? You're free? He said, yes. I said, all right, come on in. Come join the old girl, learn a thing, right?
Definitely. Thanks again.
Right, so Adrian Webster is in the house. Tonight I had a guest lined up. I do not want to call her name because she was going to be, it was going to be refreshing. It was going to be somebody that was going to share their story. They was going to share and tell their side of the story. Unfortunate. An hour ago, she messaged me, and she wasn't feeling good. She went to the football game last night and came out, and she said that in the morning, she just wasn't feeling good. So I think it's a virus, and from listening to her, maybe she have a cold or something in the ear, because she had a drippy and runny nose and stuff like that. So as a Kittitian, as an island person, if somebody tell you they ain't feeling good, what the first thing we tell them? Girl, drink a lot of water, get your chicken soup, go drink your bush tea, get your ginger roots, make sure it's natural, and, just drink, get that bush tea. Somebody say ganja tea too. And, back in the days, we couldn't really say ganja tea, so like this, but it's normal now. It's legal. It's a medicine for some people. Right. This evening, what we're going to do, we're going to have an open discussion. And I think this is a discussion that is good for everybody. As you know, Real Talk is a positive show. We don't have all the answers, but we try to not step on nobody, because everybody got a reality. But we just basically want to shed some light and maybe help a few people who need it, and persons out there in Radio Land or on the internet. They can actually be a part of the discussion, share your views with us. We welcome. If it's positive, we can read it out and have a dialogue with you. I think tonight I want to focus on smoking and probably relationships, and if we can touch on maybe termination in workplaces in terms of the civil and private sector. There's a number of persons are having issues with being terminated in the workplaces and the civil and private sector, where people are basically, especially in the civil government workers, many persons are having meltdown because of the way how they was terminated, and many of them are saying that it's not just being terminated, but they have not gotten an official letter. So that is something where we have to maybe come out of our little friendship and do things the right way. And what is alarming to a lot of people when it comes to termination in the workplaces as well, it appears that some persons are being terminated without having a warning by the management, or maybe just if somebody making complaint on you all the time, and they're basically going to tell you, well, a number of people making complaints. I work in management, like I said, in a school, teaching cosmetology. And when the students, and I'm just saying students because it's big people in this training school, but we still call them as students. And what they're saying that if students have a problem or issue, even though I'm the teacher, depending on the nature of what the person is saying, if it's out of my reach, that is where I now will get my senior in terms of my director and the owner, which is the CEO. Before I go to them, right, I will have to go to the director. And when I go to the director, they listen to what I say. So what they're going to now do is to call in that person, right? And if it's two people involved, whether it's the person along with a teacher or a student and a student, right? You don't just go from just what one person will tell you. You have to listen to both sides. And if it's a situation where you want to give justice, you should bring them both in the meeting and have a mediator, right? So it's kind of unfair when somebody going to just maybe gang up on you, even if it's the truth, and just complaining and say, well, this person said this about you and whatever, but management needs to be professional. And you have, like I said, a mediator. And if you come down to a situation where you think that one person is wrong or you want to give both a warning, you do that. And it should be either you're going to do it verbal, but the second one should have a written, something in your hand, a write-up of warning before you literally terminate someone. And it appears that what is happening here in our little small federation, persons, from what I'm hearing when some people sharing their information or the stories, and some of these stories are publicly, people go on there, vent on social media, public. You listen to them on different talk shows as well. And I am not any judge, but I don't watch Judge Judy. But so I fully believe when it comes to the judge, the jury, and verdict, I think that in fairness, to terminate someone, you should give them a written note. They should get it in their hand, showing that there was one. Now, depending on the nature, some people got to get terminated on the spot. You understand? Depending on the situation. So I think that if anyone out there listening and they want to maybe call in and share, because I think it's about time that we as a people, we have to come together, and I would say we got to demand our respect here as human, because it's not what you do, it's how you do it. There are many persons would have worked in these places for decades, years, and it appears that even when they put in so much years, there's not even a nice send-off, and you should have something like that. And a lot of people go through it. Nurses go through it. Teachers go through it. And it stems a lot from the civil service, where a lot of people would put in a lot, serve a lot in the country. And they just go home disappointed, bitter, whether it's political or whatever reason it is, And I just think that there's a way that you do things. As I said, there's some of it is what it is, because if people are doing whatever, you got to get them off the job or get a police to escort them. It is what it is. But I feel that we need to encourage persons that want to work, because it's hard, Adrian, when you have somebody coming in for 10 years, 20 years. You can't even get them on the job for 10 days, much less. So when you get them for 10, 20, 30 years, they should be able to go home and feel comfortable that they got something of achievement and a nice send-off than go home and feel broken and wounded. And a lot of these people can face psychological issues.
Issues.
So once again, it is 8:12. You're live with We'll Talk with Lavi. We're in the Federation of St. Kitts. If you're out there listening in Radio Land, a pleasant good evening to you wherever you are. Those on the internet, feel free to call in. I just want to once again introduce my friend Adrian. He's going to be in here with me. So good night, Adrian.
Blessed, everybody.
How you doing?
Great to be here. I'm good. Just enjoying the atmosphere, you know.
How was your day?
It's a normal day. Let me put it this way. You got the ups, you got the downs, but I still smile. On it.
But what ups and downs the day will bring you?
Work. Sometimes, you know, you push out tasks, and the task might not go to the full extent of how you really want it to go at times. So if it might not go today, but you try tomorrow to make it better. And basically, we're dealing with humans. Yeah, so some people are mature and some act like children. So sometimes you got to be able to understand the individuals you're dealing with.
You know what I find also, if we're not careful, you know, sometimes it's easy because we're looking at people, but I think that sometimes if we can focus on ourselves and still be selfless with it, right? By being a part of, if you see somebody maybe not smiling, how about asking them how they're doing?
That's true. All of that, all the idols try my best, because you will know the individual who you have working with you for months or years or however months, and you're supposed to know, well, when something is wrong. Sometimes they might act strange and blow out, but that doesn't mean you should, blow back out too.
Absolutely.
You should say, no man, something wrong. This person ain't acting the way how I normally does see him. Let me ask a question and see if they'll open up to me. And most times, the way how you talk to people, all that hype and going on with it, it'll cut down. And they'll say, hey John, you ain't even know. Just, I had some money there to give me child mother, but an issue come up and what's not all. You know, whatever issue it is, then people going through a lot of struggles and so on. So you got to kind of be able to listen to them and try to help them the best way you can.
That's why I like having conversation with you, Adrian.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that this is going to help you as well with your maturity, because, we're all growing still.
Yes.
But I just got a message, and someone is saying, say hello to Officer Johnny in Coastal Bend College Police Department near San Antonio. We're listening in the police car. He said he is agreeing with you.
Yes.
So, as I said, sometime I come on, and I remember a few years ago when I used to be on the radio, I would probably say, call all the places in St. Kitts. But now we are global. Yeah. So I would like to use it when I say the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, wherever you are. I am just so happy to have you here. This evening, our topic is going to be an open discussion. And what we really want to focus on is smoking, relationship, termination in the job places, in particular civil and private. But it appears that the civil servant is in particular, they seem to be getting a hard blow, like I said, when it comes to retirement. They go out so bitter. We're seeing it even when government changes. They go in so happy, and when they come out bitter. We don't know the mental state that a lot of these people go through, right? In all the departments, the majority of them go home disappointed, hurt for whatever reason. And some of them just don't know that it's going to come a point in time. If your time come, your time come. You got to prepare for it.
Yeah,
but I've been overseas too much, but I've worked in places where if you're a good worker, even when you're a bad worker, but in particular a good worker because you're putting in time.
Yeah.
They have a send off for you. You know, they don't just show you home and demote you or put you in this place to make you feel miserable. You know, it's a lot of things that we're setting up our people for mental destruction. But in the meantime, someone sent me a voice note, and I'm going to play it so people can hear, because when they sent it to me, this is a topic that they wanted me to touch. But I felt that everything that he said there is something that we are facing here in St. Kitts and Nevis. So I'm going to play the voice note, and then we can ponder on it so you can listen to it, okay?
I called to tell you, I wanted to do something, and the ganja, the smoking. Lavi, let me tell you, right? In the next 15 years from now, a load of our young men ain't gonna be no use to themselves. Our young man around 35, 25, I do not believe they ain't gonna use to themselves. The way how these young men smoking, Lavi. Lavi, let me tell you something. What gonna happen, you know? Government gonna got to bring in construction workers in this country, you know? And do different work, bringing young men to do different things, you know, in other country, you know, because our young man, them reliable. Lavi, these guys smoke. And he's smoking and putting them away, bringing them healthy. I see a fella used to look good the other day. Man look good, look so fresh and good. The man started to smoke. Suppose you jack down the guy, look. The guy is a mason, so they do mason work. When the guy walk, the man don't let the able to work. You know, I want to do something from the program about it, and I'm going to listen and I'm going to call in. Terrible, man, terrible. A young man just smoking like that. They're saying because the government went in and they free it up. That's why they're doing it like that. But I don't believe, even if the government free it up like that, and give privilege to smoke where you want to smoke. You're supposed to smoke so randomly, just smoke, one in, one out, you kill yourself. You're really hurting and you're bothering, and me not telling you lie. I got people in my family, I got nephew doing it, I got cousin doing it. And, you know, me and my man smoke. Me and my man smoke. But you smoke to a limited amount. You do it to a limit. You want to take a pull of ganja, you take a pull of smoke, a spliff. But one in, one out, that in my teeth, one another light, you know. You make you have a wonderful night. Yeah? God bless you and keep you.
Okay. I had to share this because there's a lot of people that come. Some leave email, some leave voice note. And a lot of it are very positive. This is how I was able to come and bring some of the topics. Some of them kind of come in, but he made some good points because it is actually happening here. And I'm now hearing that some of the smoke is not even the ganja, the natural herb. It's a lot of artificial blend that is messing up a lot of people. Just recently, I saw Milo box, because Milo would always post positive things of what's going on. There's a lot of locals that post a lot of stuff on social media. Good awareness, Dwight Wilkinson. There's so many people. I also saw Noah made a post talking about, he was asking a question what advice we can give to this young person. He said the guy is just 40 years old and he drank a lot of alcohol, and when he saw the guy, he was surprised to see how the guy looked. And it is very, very sad. I mean, if we can see what is happening here, it's saying a lot about the way how our Kittitians or our small island people are not really putting our anatomy first, putting ourselves in terms of taking care of our health. We cannot just wait and knock about the body and then just run doctor. And then, because after when you go to doctor, what's going to come with it is pills and medications, and sometimes it help one, but the medications them have side effects.
And the bills worse than the
Right?
medication.
And the bills and all those kind of things, you know. So what that person that know his voice will know that this is somebody in the Federation who care about the people. And it was good to show that even when people messaging me, everything is not all about no politics. People concerned about what is happening with our people.
Welfare of the people.
And he did make a point that if he said the next 10 years, but I think it could happen before if we don't change that game, that mindset. Because
it's already happening, no?
It's already happening, and
It's
if
already
that's the
happening.
case, as he said, some of the work is foreigners going to have to come in and do these jobs because our locals are like this here, young men, and the women doing it too, just out like this, like this. When I was a younger girl and I see this, I saw this kind of thing in the U.S. where you call them junkies, addicts, out on the street, and they're like this. But we're seeing it's come right to our doorstep, and it's trickling down not just to a particular type of person. It's all in the schools, in the private schools, in the government schools. So people out there, when it comes to addiction, it has nothing to do with indigenous people or just the government schools.
That's true.
It's trickled all in the private schools.
Every and anybody.
You understand? So this is a major situation that we have in here. Just today, I went through the land, I went down to Sandy Point, and it's like everywhere you go, you see it. Young guys. And, you wonder, apart from this, what else do you do as a young man or young woman? Do you hold on the home? Like maybe, because most of these people are not even independent. They're dependent on someone. And when it comes to a situation like that, even sometimes the parents can only take so much. Most time men will chop their hand, A woman now understand, and they will do their best. Well, most women, right? And after that, once the mother give up, she can do certain things. Sometimes she ain't even give up, but it's out of her hand. These same young children or young people, they're going to hit the streets and they're going to go to who's going to accept them. So a lot of them going to be taken advantage of. And these are some of the vulnerable people that these gang people will go and make them pick up a gun to prove that they're managed and they could fit in. So there's a lot of mental people out there holding this weapon that going out and doing in these things. It's an... I hope nobody knock off my head out there, right? But Adrian, you see where I'm coming from, right?
I see where I'm coming from. And I could relate, as I say, because, I've been around, as I say. Lavi, I used to smoke. I'll be honest, I used to smoke weed. But my way how I used to smoke ain't like how a lot of them doing it right now. My way how to smoke, what I used to smoke was to give me a meds. Open my mind so I could hustle. Find a way how to make some money to help my family and what's not. But people now, young, sometimes even old, not even just young, old and young, they're using it as an addiction, and it's a disease because you, as the man said, one in, one out, one in, one out. You're supposed to take your time. You're supposed to get meds for what's supposed to last 20, half an hour, you know what I mean? But they always one in because it's so come to a custom thing now. You always need it. Addicted. Just like I said, up in America, you got the crackhead, them they itching, they wanna hide.
But that is how crackhead people behave. And when you see people doing this kind of thing, it is not normal. Nobody can tell me that it's normal. And this thing basically, if it's something where people feel like they make them feel like they're a man or a woman, right? I cannot tell anyone what to do, but I know definitely that in life, you are a child until adulthood. Adulthood can be up to 18, but the brain develop at 25, right? But even though the brain's supposed to be developed at 25, if you damage the brain from before, it cannot develop to get anymore. So you're going to see people all 40, 50, and even though they look like big grown men and women, they're still children in their mind because they have not been matured enough. And some of it is not just about how academical you are, but I would think is how what you feed your brain
is what
you're going to get out of it.
And you're right, because if I speak to a lot of people, Lavi. I don't push with nobody. If they ask a question, or if they want help or whatever, I speak to a lot of people. And sometimes when you hear certain people talk, even people who got education and whatnot, if you hear certain of them talk, you can't believe, but this person really just talks so? You know what I mean? Because they're taking, as you said, the brain taking what it takes in. And if you're going intake education, let me say education, because everything is an education. Everything you learn in life is education. If you're going to take in something like you're watching on TV or whatever, that is what you learn. But you don't open up your mind to hear your friend educating you on something that they already know what's going on, or they see could make positive happen for us. You're going to be naive. You're going to be naive to it, you know what I mean? And that is what happened to a lot of them. A lot of them, they're smoking and it's something cool and thing. When I'm growing up, this is what they say. It's cool and what's not.
I think peer pressure has a lot to do with it. So it shows that the family, because I would say come from home. Mind you, we are not perfect here, and even as parents, sometimes we don't even know how to be a parent either. It's like, how do you know when you're even doing something good? Because there's so much things outside of parents' control as well. You see how the government step over in a lot of things with the children. How you can't even talk too loud to your child. You can't even spank your child. And some of the children are getting bright, so they're going to call police on you and stuff, right?
Yeah.
But there's still a level where I would say if a child see a parent doing something, that's how the child would learn.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
when I was growing up in my household, I could not use the F word or those kind of language in the home. Now, these are things when you see mother and children talking, they're actually swearing the F word right in front of them, and it's like a regular language. Mother and children smoking together in the home, they're drinking together, right? I believe that there's a boundary, there's a limit, because what you do is what they're going to continue doing. This is a different generation. Some people would probably say, why should I say this? But at the end of the day, different stroke for different folks. If this is what you stand for, it's supposed to go like this until a child in your house paying the bills. And if the child is ready to pay the bills, then the child need not to be in the house. The child could be outside and be independent on its own. It is very hard even saying this, because some people call it tough love. I don't even think tough love the work too much now, because depending on how you're doing your parenting, it will come across. These children basically will have, they put up a wall.
And somebody else is who being the parent while you playing tough love.
Right.
It's very hard for kids nowadays when they're growing up. A lot of them, and it ain't even just some of them want to be in the cool zone. Some of them take it because they're going through the stress, you know what I mean? Whatever happening in the household or in school, or somebody bullying them, and they're just trying to use that as a way to cool their mind. But it comes to a point that, as I say, addicted. When you keep using it over and over in the space of time, you actually get addicted. I used to smoke. I tell you, I used to smoke. And I said, another drink. I said, no, there's too much habit. I got to cut back. So I cut back on the weed. Right now, I just drink, and I'm trying to cut back on the drink. So, because in order for me to get where I really need to be, I know I got to get rid of my habits, because it's a cost. A cost in everything, you know. Even if you're paying for it, you're buying, whatever, it's still a cost when you gotta go hospital, because it affected you in your body and what's not. Anything
I want to take some time out to Nathan Mary on the page. I would like to invite you if you have something that can contribute to the Real Talk with Lavi, and if you know you have probably the right thing to bring to this program. It would be nice if you come on the show. You know, sometimes giving negative, it doesn't make any sense because it's not going to affect me. You only make you look foolish. And this is exactly what we are saying here in our small federation. Damn if you do, damn if you don't. Even when you're trying to bring something, we always tends to be negative, but most of the time the negativity have nothing to do with the person inflicting the negativity on. If you're negative, that is how it will come out. Because if you have something to contribute, you will give the contribution. Because at the end of the day, I always would say, right, if you are making an impact on one person, it says that something good is happening. And this is why I will always, once I'm living, whether it's not on Win FM with Real Talk with Lavi, even on the street, wherever I go, I carry my positivity and be that person that can lift somebody. It is 8:34 once again. It's a pleasure to have you here on Real Talk. You're live right here with Lavi and Adrian. And just hearing what the young man has to say, because we don't have these kind of conversations enough. And we should appreciate when we are out there bringing these conversations, because a lot of people don't want to come up here, but guess what? They will go on Facebook and throw stones on other people. And when we are throwing stones at other people, it's because they're going through things. Because if you can only throw negative, and if you're listening to somebody sharing the story and we want to judge them, it's not your story.
Yeah, that's true.
But we do know that we are facing something here all over the Caribbean.
All over.
And when we really look at it, it trickled down because a lot of those young men that are doing the killing are in the gangs. They are smoking. A lot of them are addicts, and a lot of them do not have a skill. Right? This can't be good, Adrian, because these are young men. You see them in the Leeward Island, in the Windward Island, small St. Kitts and Nevis. The same kind of crime that is continuing. You see, recently, I think it's out of St. Lucia, a 15-year-old young girl got killed. And the comments, basically, people are saying that I talked to her, so she was in a gang, or they say she was a bad girl and she liked to steal and stuff like that. 15 with that kind of record. When I was 15 years old, I was out there, basically in school, yes, but you see me there playing my little bat and ball and being a child, right? I did not have this kind of thing that I want to go rob or bully anybody. And that's why I probably can look like this. As I said, people looking and saying, Lavi, you ain't getting no younger. I mean, older. And I sometimes take it as a compliment, but sometimes I am really alarmed because I want to know what to expect. This is my body. And I know that from a child, the first thing when you're born, when you come out, what the doctors them do, clean up all that mess on top of the child. Right? So you stay clean, and then as you go, you take care of yourself. So once you become an adult, you mean to tell me that that child have not get anything out of that routine? So who are failing our children?
That's a great question, yeah. But I want to say something before we go into that, Lavi. When you say that they don't have skill, a lot of them do have skill, you know. It's just that they don't push it.
Adrian, if they had a skilled, a skilled is when you have a skill to go and do something. So evidently something is missing, and it's not necessarily coming because of them. It starts from a child, and again, the school have to go along with all of that. How we educating our children as well. And the willingness, because especially when you're poor, we have this mindset, and I've heard it from other people. This ain't even just me. I've born into hearing people say like this. Well, I grew up poor, so I don't want my children them to suffer. and I don't want them to go through what I went through. So you protect them and you lay everything out there for them. When I was a kid, between 13 years old, I could have wash, cook, clean.
That's true.
Every Sunday, if it's not me and my other sister, had to do that Sunday dish. So my parents taught me how to be independent, and we have to be careful when we say independent. Independent meaning you have to know to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
That in the case of anything and your mom is not around, you can take care of yourself. Because ain't everybody going to do it for you. What your mother going to do, somebody is saying going to do the same thing, Adrian.
And some people, well, kids, when their parents them pass, when they're young, they have to be independent because they don't
They're
have
forced to
nobody.
be independent.
They're forced, as
Exactly.
you said, forced to be independent. So you're right, and that's why a lot of them lacking in. As I was telling you with that, they reach to an age that the smoking is like when you're smoking. It's something you just. So you ain't gain the achievement you want. You ain't trying to push to achieve what you want because that's the achievement you got there. You're praising yourself without achievement.
Well, I got to say good evening to Henry Masham Jr. Matter of fact, congratulations to you, Mr. Henry Masham. And Mr. Masham is contributing by saying, that is true, back in the days, but they're not doing that to the kids now,
That's
right? And we should, it's like a generation cycle, right? So if we go into that generation, that poverty, and we don't try to educate our children of learning how to help themselves, we're going to just continue going to the cycle. So it really starts in the home, and no amount of money or how privileged you are, and you're working, making a lot of monies. You could have all the maids and you could have all the lavish life. It's very good when you're independent in that home.
That's true.
Tomorrow, like I said, we have a crisis, Mother Nature. You see, like I said, a couple of years ago, we had the COVID, right? And you're basically under house arrest, so you can't go certain places. And no matter how rich you are, who's going to help you if the person that normally look for you, they cannot be
can't
around
reach
because
you.
they probably have to go look for their own people,
That's true.
right? So it still boils down to no matter how you look, where you live, what you have, it is very good to be responsible for yourself.
That's true.
And I am going to say this again. Our young boys and girls, in particular the boys, with no exception of the girls, right? And I want people to know this. When I come here on the Real Talk, I am not here trying to label nobody. And you know, we always, when we try to bring a topic, a lot of us like to say, well, they do that in the States, they don't do this X, Y, Z. We are talking about our people here in St. Kitts and Nevis.
Our culture of people.
Our culture of people, right? And if we cannot deal with our people, how can we go and deal with the outsiders?
Yeah.
Right? We like to compare ourselves with Grand America. But there's so many programs out there, and it's a lot of people that we cannot compete with them.
Yeah.
Different cultures, right? That what somebody don't like, somebody else out there like it. But we are here in a small federation where we don't like to see Kittitians do well. So when we bring up positive program, we look at a particular person and feel like we know how they umbilical cord cut, and then we want to tell them what they're supposed to say from what they're not supposed to say, without accepting and appreciating what we are trying to do by, being good Samaritans, Somebody's saying that we grew up, had to know how to wash, cook, and clean. That is a fact.
That's true.
Someone is saying, I am so glad I am a 70s and 80s child, right? I think that we as a people, we go away because, like I said, I think I said it last week on the show, we have a different generation now that are going to college, right?
Yeah.
There's a number of our people who have not made it to college. Sometimes it's only that one generation.
Yeah.
And in that generation, that one person with that opportunity was able to go to college. But does that mean because you have your degrees and you have your big jobs, you don't know how to be independent to teach independence to your children. And when you have that level of independence, you can manage anyone else, because when it comes to responsibility, and that is why when you take up leadership positions, you yourself have to be a leader before you lead anybody else.
Yeah. That's
If
true.
you can't take care of your home and your mother or your sisters, your auntie, your cousin, your friend, vice versa boyfriend, doing things for you, you're not really a man. I'm really a woman.
Yeah.
You are that in gender, but in terms of the material, the responsibility of being a human being to help somebody, to give knowledge to somebody else.
That's true.
You know, and Adrian, I can speak like this because when I was growing up, I mean, I wasn't perfect. My mother used to pull me back here, the dishes, and I used to vex her. I feel like I was late person because I had a washing machine. They start to wash on hands. Adrian, and I wanted to do the little click, click. You know, when you watch it.
Auntie, you always want to
Click,
learn
click.
when you watch it.
And the click, click for me. I don't even know if the clothes were being washed, but I wanted to hear click.
Yeah.
And I used to see my mother going boom, 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 and she knock out everything. Listen, those was the real strong women. And those are the women that are not being respected, because you see a lot of women like that produce doctors, lawyers, persons in big positions, right? Being able to have decent jobs, locking down, whether in St. Kitts or wherever they are. But yet it look like they forget where they're from, and they're disrespecting a lot of the independent women, right? And the same thing for some men. There's a lot of men know how to wash, cook, and clean, and society will have them that they're either a mama man, they judge them just because they know how to do these things, because back in the days, the household, the head of the household used to be the mother and the father and the children. Today's world, it appears that the children got more say than the parents because of how it is.
It is, no.
Right? You have all the child and protection and all those kind of things come into play. I believe that they needed to really be into play because some children really used to be abused.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
But there's also, there's always a positive and a negative to some of these things, because I know I learned when my mother gave me a cut eye. I know what a cut eye means.
Yeah.
Sometimes your mother going to mash on your little toe. You think I going to say, you mash me. I can't say that. I don't know, it's to straighten up or doing something wrong.
Yeah.
So all little signs, I feel that gave us common sense. What do you think, Adrian? Did you have a little bit of that?
Trust me.
What baby you call yourself? 80s, 90s? Or?
80s.
So you're offset of the 80s, 90s?
Late 80s, the late 80s. I used to get to wake up early in the morning before I got to school. Go outside with my cousins, them to rake up the grass, cut this, or clean the house and what's not. And there got times I so tired, 6 o'clock in the morning we talking. I saw, I can't go with nothing. I got run around the yard in my underpants. The grandfather, he led up them cattle leather belt, them going school, running behind me. And I mean, them was the days when you had to be disciplined to know that, you got to learn to be independent and do things on your own. Because when I'm big, I live by myself, and trust me, I say, oh Lord, I got to go do this with you. There are times I got to clean, I got to clean, what I mean? That's just nature, human nature of doing. You got to do what you got to do. Because you want, when somebody's, the first thing I understand about cleaning, you never know who gonna come by you. So one guy your house dirty, and they start to cuss and say, boy, in here stink and dirty.
Yes.
So,
as the people are in the conversation with us, and they're saying, yes, you had to go sweep up your yard and take out the animals before we go to school, and you take out the trash. So you had chores to do. And we got to be very careful, because if we don't instill this in our children, this is what we're going to see in the street. Our black children going to just basically become addicts because they have their mind on the wrong things. They never get it from small, right? You have to have a level of responsibility. Make up your bed. My mother, and I'm sure everybody is telling that, my mother used to always tell me, before you leave the house, make up your bed. Because you don't know what's going to happen to you.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? I also heard on the American TV where it was an American lady, and I think she was a psychologist. She had a show, and she said some of these things should not be, because she's saying that we put in too much on ourselves nowadays. That if we house ain't clean, before you go out your bed, got to make up and different kind of things. And she's saying that some of these is okay, that if you get up late, you don't have to do these things, and then you go and do whatever. But for me, coming from an island person, I believe that habits are developed when we just accept them.
Yes, that's true.
Right? But I guess what she was trying to say is a lot of stress. Like basically, you see people have the house looking like a palace. You can't sit down in there. You can't be comfortable in your chair. So she's saying it's okay to have some dishes in your sink, right?
Yeah.
But the way how we was brought up in the West Indies, guys, not just me, this is a West Indies culture. Right? And even some places in the U.S. Because I've speak to some white people, and they grew up the same thing just like us. But I feel that these are what we are not doing in the home, and the children are coming up lazy.
Yes, and that is true, Lavi. I'd like to say something there, Lavi. I learned something there. Well, it's something basically on about, well, how we used to grow up and what's not. But I kind of learned something there, and I say from one of them books I was reading, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And he was talking about disciplining and what's not, and kind of getting your kids them into the understanding. You know, when we were growing up, you hear some people get what do they call them, allowance. Yeah, he was speaking in the book and what's not, what I was reading. We should teach our kids them, because we know they don't be lazy and what's not. Why not teach them to be, as you say, independent by going to do the chores and award them, reward them, say $1 or whatever, so they could get that mindset to know, well, boy, I clean my thing and what's not. And you're kind of opening them up to the bigger world to understand now, when you work, when you do anything, that you have to do what you gotta do, and you will get rewarded. And I kind of, that's what I say I'm gonna do for my daughter. You know what I mean? When she reach her age, I'm gonna support to start to she chores and what's not, and then I'm water, because I know once she get rewarded and she see that Daddy give me $5, yeah, she gonna always want to do it. Really. So I'd say that to put it to the audience, everybody out there, maybe some, if you are having problems with your kids doing your chores, them and what's not, you know, that's the way you could help. You know what I mean? Maybe you must give them a lot of money, but just give them something, and you know, make them understand that when they do good, they do chores or they doing any type of work, you know, they get reward, and it could be a good help for them.
I would add to what you said with that, that you just said, and I'm sure that persons out there, a lot of people are relating to what we see, what we're talking, because we're talking about real life, you know, and all of this is relationship also.
Yes,
right?
Definitely.
Now, the first time I entered the United States, I realized that was a pattern. Coming in from the Caribbean, I don't think that it has, everything have a good
That's true.
and a bad, a action and a reaction. Now, the way how I feel that from what I experience, a lot of people leave from here and go to America. And when I say they change totally, and that's the mindset that they get into, meaning sometimes they can't even house one of their the families.
Yeah,
And you're looking at even some children, they get married, not even the mother can come
Come to
to the home, right? So it's like it could be like a selfish way also, because we should not have to pay people to get things. So what you can do by rewarding them is fine, but they should not say, well, I ain't gonna do that because I'm gonna get paid, right? But I do like the American way where they reward you with something, but we should also tell our children that this is something that they should be doing.
Mandatory.
It is a mandatory thing that when, like my little granddaughter, I like to use her for example. My little granddaughter is 3 years old. I think my daughter, not that I think, my daughter is doing an excellent job. I am so proud of my daughter and my granddaughter, right? And my granddaughter is 3 years old. Even her toys, when she take up her toys, she have like her little bucket, her box, where she'll clean up, right? And if you go to the daycare nowadays, even the daycare, they teach the children, when you finish play, you clean up. And they're paying them.
That's true.
Right?
True.
So nothing wrong with rewarding the children, but we should not be telling the child, well, they wash up the dishes so they get this, or they get good grades so they get money. If you want to teach your child about how much money, because we should teach our children about the dollar and the value of the money, right? But we have to be very careful that we're not really putting down monies to these children and feel, well, my mommy going to give me this, and if she don't give me this, all hell's going to break out. So there's another side to that. So it's educating them in a nice way, but teaching them the value of a dollar and to appreciate
it,
the money, right? My little granddaughter, again, at 3 years old, she don't have any name brand. No Nikes, no all these high brand names. The little child like animated stuff. They went to Walmart the other day, and her mom called me and was telling me, and listen, I nearly have, I laughed so till you hear. She saw the animated shoes, and the child put on the shoes, and she wasn't taking those shoes off. You think she went out there and looked at any Nike and any Reeboks and any Adidas?
That's true.
She went to the character, what she saw. And those shoes was within a budget that she could manfully get, because my little granddaughter was not taking off those shoes. So come back again. We have to be careful that we're not taking out the essence of children having fun being a child, than taking them into the adult world with all these glam, and you're having these little baby children that look like adults. We have to be very careful.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? So when it comes to, like I said, our young boys coming up and not doing anything, I feel like they could just smoke or maybe sing, and everybody want to be an entertainer. Everybody want to feel like they could just do the singing. You have to have something besides that, because when a man is looking for a relationship with a woman, because he's going to become a man.
Yeah, that's true.
What do he have to bring to that woman?
To that,
What do that?
Said to the table.
What woman have to bring to the man?
Yeah.
She could sing and she look cute. Hello.
Yeah, you gotta come better than that.
You need more than that.
You need more than that for sure.
You need some substance, and again, you need responsibility. And what we're seeing is a lot of good adults and not responsible, right? People feel I could just come and tell you, I like see you and I love you. And that's just talks, because half the time, do you really understand what is love? You have to be able to love yourself first before you can love somebody else.
And next thing on that topic there, sometimes people that's got over the board now, well, right now, the young people answer with materialistic things. They think because, for instance, a man might be fortunate to get a car, a sporty car, what's not. But most of the time, he got a sporty car, but ain't in his as yet. He's still paying back the bank, and it's any time given that he lose his job, can't afford it. The bank gone with it, and then when you look now, all that love he was showing you and on taking care of you, well, you're gonna go left him now because he don't have the money to support you.
And Adrian, and some of the things that they're feeding us down here, it is not important stuff. I know I'm a victim of the system. A lot of us are victim of the system because
yeah.
we're born babies, we ain't born big,
Yeah.
A lot of things that we know now, we never know then.
back then,
So we basically are followers. As we're born into a following system.
That's true.
You understand?
That's true. Everybody
And if a lot of us know that if you're going to have a vehicle and the vehicle outside, park outside, costs more than where you live in, something is wrong.
Something is wrong. Yeah.
If you see the majority of the Americans and the foreigners that come here, the majority of their vehicle, you see them going to school, the oldest vehicle.
Old.
But ask where they live.
Bang around.
Where do they live?
Yeah.
You hardly see them in the rural places.
That's true. They got the.
So I feel that
backbone.
we have our priorities backwards because we don't know any better. And a lot of the material things, even in the music that is being
That's keeping us poor. A lot of us.
definitely. And some people say it's entertainment, but we have to know the level of entertainment that if you don't have a balance, nothing wrong to enjoy yourself. But again, I feel that our people here are not ambitious enough.
That's true.
We don't understand what ambitious mean. We basically looking at when another culture do something, we complain about them. People are saying, a different culture of 4th Street is one set of people there, is one set of people on Port Zante, blah, blah, blah. And I get that. But at the end of the day, what many of our locals really want, if you look at it, smoke, alcohol, fast life, name brands, just looking the outside, the outward.
Yeah. The foreign lifestyle. That's how I see it.
Someone was telling me I have to go and really do some more research on it, but they were saying in a particular continent that when these children go to kindergarten, you see like how here we go to school from grade 1 all the way up. We sit down in a classroom and the teacher up there and we point or we just whatever. It is the other way around. They have the children as young as they be making the stuff. From kindergarten come up.
Okay.
And if you realize that these people are one of the most skilled people in the entire world.
Okay. They create them young.
China and those places.
Well,
The people are very
I respect-
skilled because it's not just waiting for them to come in the home, it's also in the schools.
In the school. And I'll tell you this, Lavi. I respect China to the fullest. When I watch something on YouTube, one of the medias and was showing on one. I don't watch one, the Indian news, and they had a particular content about the TikTok. TikTok is owned by a Chinese company. And what does happen is Americans and we foreigners, we and others, we watch TikTok as an enjoyment to entertain us, to laugh and giggle and what's not. In China, they can't show that. In China, is educational thing they shine for the people.
I don't have any TikTok. Some people tell me I must have TikTok, but I wasn't interested into it.
Social media, only one social media like that is Facebook. I ain't want no that or no, because it's very distracting. It takes, and that's why a lot of people can elevate neither, because it's distracting. It's distracting you from pushing your mind to go out there and build something.
But I like to deal with people individual. I feel that one of the reasons why I don't have TikTok, I don't have the time, but I believe that I control my mind. And if you can control your mind, nothing wrong in having all these things, You just have to be able to have a balance and to each his own.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I would not tell people what they're supposed to do from what they're not supposed to do.
Yeah.
But one of the issues that we're having here is a serious crisis, and I don't care who out there and telling me I shouldn't say this. We have a serious crisis here with our young men. They know how to do the rapping, but they're not doing no work.
That's true.
And they're just going out begging. You leave from Bastille, you go anywhere. As I said today, even on Sandy Point, and the man is a grown man, begging. That begging become like a habit.
Yeah.
And it's not cool. It is not cool at all.
I just tell people, I went through some shit in life. I'm telling you, like, till up to where I'll be right now. But I done went through a lot of shit in life. At that point in time, I couldn't get a job. But I went out there and used my skill, my brain, and hustle, do something to bring food on the table to help my mother. A lot of them out there, as you say, is true. You go by the Chinese, 1 or 2 days, they're begging you. You go anywhere where they know where the traffic is flowing, they're begging you. Lavi, I grew up, my parents them grew up teach me to don't beg nobody. If I want anything, I ask them. Mm-hmm. And even them, I don't even want to ask because I'm a man now. You know how you feel when you're a man. You just feel who I feel independent. So I gonna go through my struggles. I got time like I going through my struggles and nobody know. But what? I won't go out there and go on the streets and beg. I will go and find a work, do something. You know, even think on my mind and be creative and make something that I could go and sell to somebody. Because I rather know that I earn it than to be given. Because when you get it, you go, you do whatever, and then you come back again. Yeah?
I just feel, like I said, it is 4 minutes after the hour of 9 o'clock. Mm-hmm. You're live on The Real Talk with Lavi. This is a grassroots program. We're here to share, some of the things that wouldn't really come on the airways. Mm-hmm. But there's a lot of growth that we need to do among ourselves as Black people. In our smaller island, I think St. Kitts is one of the most privileged islands in the Caribbean, if not the world. And I am not even joking when I said that. Mm-hmm. I am saying this because I've been to a lot of different places, and St. Kitts have the housing and the lifestyle that a lot of us are living. Mm-hmm. Many other people don't have it. You look at the average, what one will consider as low-income houses, or homes. The government over the years have given houses since back in the 80s up to the 90s, 2000 up until present, right? Yeah. So there's a lot of privilege with the poor class people and middle income people. They're able to get housing from the government. They get land. Even some they're able to go and build their own homes. And if you see some of these homes that when you go in, that's supposed to be a rural area, some of it really don't look any different from some of the suburbs here in St. Kitts and Nevis, right? So I would say that the lifestyle of a lot of people who we live in, I think they're privileged compared to some other places. You go down some places in the Virgin Islands, even in the British Virgin Islands, and some of the conditions as how some people are still living, even in Jamaica. I'm not here to tear down anybody, but I'm just letting our Kittitians, if they only know how they are living, the percentage of how we're living, and we're living on the inside, where we have bathroom inside, you have water inside, you have TV, fridge, and those kind of things, right? There's a lot of other places do not have that. They still like the boathouse, and you see some of the, even you see some things with Jamaica and how they live in the roof leaking and all those kind of things. It's like not even a place where anyone would live. We don't have that here, and if we do, it's on a small scale. It's very on a small scale. So that is why I said that we are privileged, and if not, maybe one of in the Caribbean, in the entire world.
We even as privileged as have water pipes still on the roads. So if you're hot.
And outside baths. There's still some outside baths, like public baths. St. Peter's have one.
Newtown have about 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And it is so that, as you said, we're very privileged. And we don't, a lot of people here, I guess maybe they never traveled or they ain't get the experience to travel or whatever. They don't even know how privileged here is. And so when you see the foreigners them come here, this is like a 5-star I say island. to
That
them.
is why a lot of them come in here. And I could speak in particular with Jamaica. There's some places in Jamaica you can't even get up there. So they don't have any, I would say, what you call that, like cable.
Yeah,
So some of them still have to do like the DVDs.
yeah.
And depending on which part they are, they have to get generator because of where it is.
Where it is,
So
yeah.
no car could go up there. I know because I've been there. Over in Mobe, Montego Bay.
Yeah.
There are different parts because Jamaica is so big, right? That some of them live up in the hill and beautiful houses, some of them, but because people go overseas too and they go and they build back the
Build
home.
that, yeah.
But I could tell you this much, there's some people in Jamaica cannot even, like how we could drive up and get that, like say this the house and this the road.
Yeah.
Some of them you gotta do like you're going up a hill. It's like an alley.
So they
You
got to
cannot
walk.
drive up there, they have to walk.
Wow.
And that is why you find even in school, some of them don't even have, like, they have to take taxi, or however they get to school.
Yeah.
So we are very privileged. Even some of the school, like for instance, St. Peter's, there's some people, the school, like right there, could just literally walk to the school. So we are very, very privileged here. And I just feel that our people need to really start being more independent and responsible. It is said a black man without an education eventually is going to be a failure. And education is not all about books, book and sense. It's all
sense.
it's book sense,
With
common sense,
intelligence.
work ethics. You have to experience all of that. You have to be able to understand the university of life.
Life, yes. The balance of the universe.
Right? And for now, I could say this with all the privilege. We have the Clarence Fitzroy Brian. There are persons, I know people come from Anguilla and different places to come to the Clarence Fitzroy Brian College. Right? You have a number of people who come from Nevis to come down and go to that college.
Yeah.
And, they've done well.
Yeah.
So I don't understand why we're not producing more smart people. And I have to use the word say smart, meaning we needed to be a little bit more aggressive in terms of our goal and knowing what we want in life. Than just being dependent upon the government. You will hear people, well, I ain't getting none because the government ain't this and the government ain't that. I've been to other places and you can't just get up and just waiting for government to do something for you.
Yes. Lavi, I like when you said that just now. Me as a man directly, Lavi, when I'm speaking with people like, either a girl who are trying to get to know or even somebody who come on by the office step who wants a job or whatever, I always ask this question when I get to know them. What you want to, how you see yourself in 5 years? A lot of them young ones, I don't know. So once like you're growing up all your years and you don't know what you want to be. So because if you tell me you want to be a doctor or a lot, then I can understand, you know what I mean? But I ask you what you as an adult right now, as an adult, 17, 18 as an adult.
But 17 and 18 is okay, Adrian, and that's the thing. Sometimes that is how we was indoctrinated, right? That we want to be and whatever. And that's why you find a lot of people go to college and they end up changing because remember the mind developed at 25. So sometimes in terms of what we want, right? It's not a matter that some people don't know what they want. They really technically don't know because we have not really give them enough time
to think
to develop what they want, because St. Kitts is one of the places, the many places that I see that a lot of young people going to school and not having to go to work. And that is where independence begin, right? So you find some of the fast food places, maybe we don't have enough people, I don't know. But for instance, the Virgin Islands, you would have people that can go to school, high school, and they're not just waiting to get a scholarship from a particular place to get a job. So down there, you can work at McDonald's, KFC, different places, Domino's, and you're making a little, you work at Kmart, right? So I see when you go up at Rams, you have some college girls up there also, which is good.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about when you're in your preteen, right? And even when you go to some of the Asian places here, they have the young children in there working with them.
Yeah.
So a lot of this thing, like I said, it stems from when you're small, because if it's not inside of you when you're small, when you come big, you can't do it, you're lost.
Yeah.
So in terms of many people having a mind as to say whether what they want to do or become, some of them don't know, and some of them are basically doing things what their parents want them to do.
Yes, that's true.
But it is 30 minutes after the hour of 9. We're going to start to wrap it up. Adrian, it was really nice having you here.
Wow,
The
it was a
discussion tonight, we tried to touch on a little bit of the smoking, relationship, and termination in the workplaces in terms of civil and the private sector. And as you know, we can only use a short time to share some of the things that are happening around our environment. And I would always say we have to be examples as well. We just can't want what people want with their life, and at the same time we're not looking at us. We must be able to take a U-turn. In the meantime, before I close off, I want to recognize a young man by the name of Bondo. He does tiling, and I would recommend him. And every time I recommend someone, I'm not just saying I'm recommending that person, but I've seen their work. So if anybody looking for a tile man, his name is Bondo. I'm not going to give out his number on the air, but if you're interested, you could message me, and you will get Mr. Bondo number. Very good tile man, tiles man. I'm very happy with his work. And yes, I want to say a special good evening to Bondo and his crew. They're all locals, and I believe in supporting locals. I also want to take the time out to go on down there to Sandy Point, the Tamarind Tree, I think, shop or bar. Is a young lady by the name of Sharon. I had lunch there today. And yes, right by the Tamarind Tree in Sandy Point off of the main road.
Yeah.
And you can't miss the sun. Once you drive, and if you don't see the Tamarind Tree, that's not her.
That's not
You just take the island main road, and you continue going all the way. I think almost out of Sandy Point. There's a big tamarind tree on the right-hand side.
Okay.
And if you went to school and you did steeplechase and you did walkathon, you will know that tamarind tree. I remember that tamarind tree from a child. You know, when we walk from town and going to the island, there's certain landmark, right? So she's there. If you want your lunch, you can go there, I think, from around 11 o'clock in the morning down in Sandy Point by that.
So what you had?
I had, good question. She had mutton, chicken, and fish.
Okay.
I didn't want the fish. I'm not really a lover of Creole fish. Sometimes I don't want I like plain fish, like not too much of stuff in it.
Yeah.
So I end up getting, my friend and I was there. She had the chicken, I had the mutton. And she had squash fig. Yeah, and pancake and salad and vegetable and macaroni pie.
Wow, that's nice.
I did not eat all, so I have some saving left.
Well, you don't know when the munchies kick in,
Yeah, and it was very, very good. And while I here again, I think is Digi, I forgot his name, Digi, he's up in Newtown, one of the Roberts, Chris Roberts' nephew.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Digi Bites or something. Yeah, but anyway, he do his breakfast at morning in his grandmother's place up at Newtown, the project.
Yeah, on the Pans Extension.
And that young man, again, he left something in my mind that there's hope for our young men here, because when I went in the kitchen, he reminded me of OJ, all men. And you could see their friends too. And there was Indian who ain't doing the dough, who ain't doing this, and they was up there doing the breakfast, and I really enjoyed the breakfast. Wow. I'm sure they have a lot of other people, but I have to come to your place and really like it for me to even let other people know about. Yeah, but definitely we have to start producing independent men. Children, our local kitchen. we have to be a little bit more independent. Yeah, there's a lot of skylarking and the jokes and the comedian and the comics and whatever. We need more than that. We need stability. Yeah, we need a balance. So this is how I roll. I pick up this little slang that I like. He's not my fan. I'm really not a fan of cartel, but I like the thing. I'm out. So once again, it was a pleasure to be here. I see some people in the studios with Tough House. Tough House look like he's going to be having a session up here. He didn't tell me nothing about it, which and I think he's going to tell me and bring me in so I could get the young man them some plug. Because all the young man them ain't bad enough here smoking the brains out. But I looking at one, he look handsome, eh? I wonder if you want a cougar. I'm a cougar, you know. How it is with lovely Lavi and the real talk. We keep it here. We're making people smile. And I'm looking forward to see these young men and hear the music. People, they want to know what kind of plug. That's our young generation today. But I could go and have a young son, eh? Yeah, so I know he know what kind of plug it is. The green plug. All right. It's a plug. Yeah. So same place, same time next week. We'll talk with Lavi. Have a wonderful evening. I'm out. Duh. Oh.
different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Let's get real on Win FM. Hi, this is Lavi. Let's get real Wednesday nights at 8 on Win FM. Get ready for an hour